Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning northwest corner of the map, playing in blue, we got beastyqt playing as the Malians, and his opponent in the southeast playing in red, we have got none other than, well, I believe it's louemt, and he's playing in red as the English. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. We got the battle of the, well, I guess possibly two kings. We'll have to see. Oh, that scout is floating around. Got the Ilalu king on the west side, and possibly the English king on the right side. Now, we haven't seen the king's... Wait, is it Abbey Kings? That's it, yeah. The Abbey Kings landmark for quite some time, and I'd be excited to see if that happens on this match, because we have seen louemt do it before recently, and it's a strategy that he enjoys to do. Going up against the Malians can be very tricky, of course. Having access to the Donso and Javelin throwers, two unique units for the Malians, incredibly strong. Malians are looking in good spots at the moment, actually, I gotta say, especially with the cow boom, once it gets online and rocking in the mid to late game. It's a powerhouse in terms of food. And gold, actually, because you get gold passively generating from the golden... the gold veins and the pit mines that are on it. Already have one up and running. A beastie. Going to be having a nice time with the Malians, I suspect. And the English are going to have something to do with it, because they have to do something about it, really. Because the Malians are one of the civilizations that tend to dictate the terms of an engagement. Terms of a fight, terms of a civilization matchup. Because they're pretty flexible, but ultimately they have one major strategy that you cannot allow to go untouched, and that is the cow boom into the castle age. Now, they do have some potential in the feudal age as well with the donzos and javelin throwers, but often those units are pretty much usually made just to hold their way up to that castle age. Because of course the castle age does unlock the ability to get the grand fulani goro, a great landmark for the Malians, and really increases that food income from those cattle ranches. It's something that they very much aim to do, and I wonder whether the English will have something to do about it with the feudal age pressure that they can deal out, especially if they go up with the council horse. That's always an option. It's going to be Abbey King, so we kind of thought about it, and it could be a potential, and it was. louemt not disappointing again. So a couple of games in a row now that he's done this, and pretty excited to see how he pans this one out against the Malians. Going to be looking to get a king out nice and early, put some pressure. So we have got the English king against the Ilalu king. Only one king can triumph today on Dry Arabia. We have to see who will be the king of Arabia. We've got the Manta Quarry being built with 5 villagers, so going to be getting there a little bit later to the feudal age of the Malians, but not too far behind because he's got an extra villager building. And that'll definitely be helpful. The English, though, slowly working their way to the next stage. Now, I wonder with the English, there is often a trap to be a bit more expansive and booming. They can go for multiple town centres on many occasions. Second town centre is not always a bad thing, and maybe even the third with the King's Palace to get to that castle age. But the late game, when it comes to that in the English versus the Malians, the English have traditionally been known as a massive powerhouse in that regard, of course. Been taking a couple of dips and turns, though, with the nerfing of the enclosures tech from the mill, which does give them gold passively from working farms. But I gotta say, the Malians powerhouse in the late game is incredibly strong because of the cows. The cattle boom, in terms of not just raw numbers of food being brought in, but also because it's very population efficient. Of course, doesn't take any population, which of course other civilizations will have to spend on villagers. It means that the Malians can really boost up their army and get a massive army together to maximize their 200 population supply that they have access to in the game. And it's like villagers going out to stone, so it will be a second town centre for the English, looking to scale that economy and then push out for that. And in terms of the base, I've got to say the base layout is a little bit awkward for the English. It's got double deer camp here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Beastie maybe pressurize that area in the mid to late game, just to stop the deer camp being taken. But ultimately the English do love to get their farms up, and so it doesn't hurt them too much here, as opposed to if it was another civilization, of course. And the scout just starting to get the torches out on that pit mine, but obviously Beastie won't be too worried about that, not at this stage at least. And the first mill is up and running and getting the early wheelbarrow and double broadaxe to really scale that economy. Eco upgrades coming in thick and fast for the Malians. So it is helpful getting that passive gold generation. The English going pretty heavy on that stone as you'd expect for that second town. So the question is, where does he make it? It's quite typical now that players, as the English, and any faction really, any civilization, they tend to place their second town centre very close to home because town centres aren't what they used to be in terms of defensive structures. Less emplacements or less garrisonable spots, actually. 7 villagers can garrison inside at the moment. in the secondary town centre. It used to be 10. So things have changed. People are a little bit less expansive with their second town centres. The king is out and about, but not really getting that much value. He's getting an extra torch out of it, but Donzos will be out soon, as well as javelin throwers for the Malians, and playing very condensed economy as the Malians tend to do, and very difficult to push, by the way. Another feature about the Malian gameplay is the fact that their bases are very usually closely tied, knit. Everything very much next to each other, creates a lot of choke points, makes it difficult for enemies to push in, especially when you factor in the ranged attack from the Donzo. The ability to throw the javelin for the Donzo is incredibly strong. It's got a massive range on it too. 6.5 tiles is absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't even need to use that range at this point. Pokes and prodders at the scout a little bit. The king does look to get the charge attack, but needs to back away now because there are 2 Donzos on the field. Gets another throw of that spear and backs away with the king. Has now got the hardened upgrade to the Donzos as well. Definitely going to be helpful. Second town center is being put close to home on the gold vein just to help them get to the castle age, which certainly looks like the play here. Now, I suspect it's going to be the White Tower. We see this build for the English quite often, getting massive farms in the feudal age and then go to the castle age with the White Tower just to help defend and protect the economy that has been established. But I'm going to say with the expansion now to the second pit mine, which is being very well protected by the 2 Donzos, needs to keep that villager safe and secure. 3 Donzos now, in fact, and the king really can't get too much value. Unless there's a miss micro, which is unlikely to happen from a player of beastyqt's caliber. Always making sure that villager is safe and secure. Walls are coming up, just minimal ones, and just to prevent any sort of aggression early on. But there's no cavalry, so it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Takes a bit of time for the Malians to get across the map. But getting across the map is something that they will do once they start to spam out those units, and they're continuing to produce those javelin throwers. The cows are starting to come up with a double mill, by the way. It's a very, very fast cow boom when you've got 2 mills working for you. Donzos are chasing. Gets another couple of throws, and whilst the king will heal himself out, but just so it makes it more difficult when he's half health already to dive in. Now, it does feel like instead of the early aggression and pressure from the English, he's going to be booming up, trying to match like for like, which is an interesting approach. I'll see if it would be interesting to see if Louis actually makes this work or not. I'm not convinced against the Malians. I've got to say the Malians have such a strong economy mid to late game as well. Oh, he might lose the king. He does lose the king. I'm afraid he's going to have to come back alive from the Abbey of Kings once again. He's going to retrain him pretty much instantaneously and take some time for him to come out though. We see the farms being plotted down for the English. There's getting a great amount of food coming in soon because of that. The same could be said for the Malians. Oh, loses a scout there as well there. Louis, not great for him. Gonna be lacking that vision. Might need to make another. He's setting up the base very nicely here, Beastie. Going to be getting the Grand Fulani Coral here, just next to the town centre most likely. It looks like both mills are producing the cows. Just needs a bit more gold and he'll be fine. The king making his way across the map. King does escape with it, but you know, lost a lot of health and is going to be chipping away at those units. But those units are heading across now. Beastie will be pretty happy with that number of units and looking to pressurize now. The question is, what can he hit? Most of the resources are pretty well protected. Has had to abandon a couple of the farms though. Goes back to sheep. The lack of units here for the English kind of stark and worrying. It certainly does look like it's going to be that castle age timing for the English. The Malians, on the other hand, are actually the ones that are being a bit more aggressive. It's typically the case. The Malians tend to get the couple of units and then into castle age. And so do the English in some regards, but the English have been a little bit greedy. Only going for the Abbey of Kings and King. Nothing else added in just yet for the English. Beastie going to be looking to try and make him pay the price for that. Now, Woodline's awfully exposed. It's actually not within the range of the town centre, so he might just sneak through. Force the villagers away from that woodland. That's actually a bit of a problem because there's no real other easy place for Louis to get wood, and I mean, BC could just camp that area, to be honest. And he would be fine. Getting a barracks as we speak. Maybe Man-at-Arms could be a nice play, I gotta say. It does feel like in this matchup, Man-at-Arms has got to be the play. There's the White Tower being built with 16 villagers, and Man-at-Arms could do well, but he's got to be careful because Beastie, when he does get to the castle age, Musafadi warriors is always an option. It does feel like the Malians at all turns always do have a counter, an answer to the situation. The king gonna snipe a villager, could quite get one, should be able to get one, but might lose his life in the process. Does back away. No more throws of the spear left there. It's on a cooldown at least. But just doesn't manage to get the last throw of the dice of that spear. And well, has to back away. But did manage to get one villager at least. Goes around the east side now, Beastie, looking to just make sure those deer camp isn't being taken, no further stone being gathered. Let's go around on the east side. Now he can actually try and deny the gold, at least temporarily. So I don't think it's within the range. Like, he should be able to stand here with the javelin throws and pressure. The javelin throws actually in many ways a very strong raiding unit. By virtue of the fact they don't take too much damage against, you know, archer sort of fire from the town centre or the White Tower, they can definitely tank, and they've got the range on them to harass, as we see now happening. Scout going a little bit too close for comfort though. Might lose his scout. He does. So he loses the vision. Starting to wall up as well, just to make sure that king doesn't come back knocking again. And it's going to go take the deer camp. So a great amount of food going to be coming in soon. There is the Grand Filani Coral. Now bear in mind that with louemt in the castle age, hasn't been able to maximize the usage of monks to get relics just yet. And in terms of production, what's he making? He's getting man-at-arms from the White Tower. He does, of course, already have the barracks. Javelin throws always just threatening. There comes a point where Beastie might have to head back home. Got a good standing army, but needs to make sure it survives. Especially with those man-at-arm numbers starting to build up for the English. He's going to snipe at least one villager. Does get one. Oh, nearly gets a second. Will he get it? He's not going to back away. He's going to back away for now. The spears, the Donzo should snap. That king does go down again. Once again. Jam throws. Going to try and get as many villagers as they can on the retreat. I think he should get one more possibly. Does get one more. Now he's to back away. But ultimately, Beastie's had some value already from this army. 4 villagers killed, and he should be able to get out of there. We'll lose a couple on the retreat, but ultimately, now that he's in the castle age, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Musafadi warriors. Here we are, double barracks, and he does have a couple of Musafadi warriors already made. The matchup, a bit of a tricky one. Louis, though, is kind of playing into his enemy's hands. I hope he does look to try and switch over to longbows, because he's going to need them. Man-at-arms longbows could work pretty well, but javelin throws Musafadi warriors could work just as well for their enemy. And economy-wise, despite having 19 villagers on food there, Beastie. Sorry, Louis, rather. 20, in fact. He's still gathering less food. And that is the Malian powerhouse for you. The second town centre, the village lead really starting to escalate. And that does pose a bit of a problem for Beastie. He's going to need to get a large military mass together soon to try and punish the second town centre play. But whilst he does have 2 town centres, don't forget the cow boom. Don't underestimate it. It's incredibly strong. And now he's looking to get a couple of relics off the map too. Sending a small group of Musafadi warriors down on the south. Man-at-arms trickling through the centre. Quite a few of them. Going to try and get the relic. I don't think that Imam's going to get there though. It's unlikely. Man-at-arms chasing. Yeah, he goes down very quickly. But the attack notification has been given, so Beastie will be aware. And the palisade walling up now has going to be... well, it's going to be great for him. It's going to help buy him some time. That's a large number of man-at-arms heading forward. Only a handful of longbows. But straight Musafadi warriors here will be great for the Malians if he decides to do it. He's got 2 back goals to rely on as well. Villagers heading out there now as we speak. Man-at-arms have broken through. Going to be looking to take the first pit mine, but ultimately Beastie won't mind this. He'll probably wait until his opportune moment to engage. In fact, it might be now. It looks like it's go time. He's heading forward now with the Musafadi warriors. Doesn't want to give up that pit mine, and just as well, and doesn't need to really. has got enough to deal with this for sure. Going to get a good surround on the man-at-arms, Waterloo in the south. Well, it's not going to work yet. Oh wait, he might get it. He deletes it there, Beastie. Nicely done. The Musafadi warriors engage. This is not a fight that Louis can take. There's just too many Musafadi warriors, and they don't look hugely strong in terms of armor, but boy oh boy, do they take off the armor from the man-at-arms. They absolutely chop through that. And Louis has to back away. He's lost so many units, by the way. In the blink of an eye, his military numbers really dwindled. And this is going to be a very big problem for him, because there's no real answer to it quickly. He's going to need longbows if he can. But with only 9 of them, with this number of Musafadi warriors, I don't think Beastie will be worried too much. He's going to get another barracks as well, really doubling down on that. And there is an archery range, which is exactly what he needs. Now, he can make longbows from the White Tower as we speak, and as he is doing. Oh, 2 relics already in the bag for the Malians, and I love the palisade walls here actually. That's going to protect these 2 gold veins and the berry bush, which is exactly what he needs. And he's now looking to get those relics back home. 2 already in the bag, 1 on the way. And again, he's looking to harass once again with those Musafadi warriors. Round the back, Waterloo comes off. I don't think he's going to manage it. But those Donsos are pretty much dead in the water at this point, and that will be a relic coming in for Louis. Just as well, though, because he's kind of losing the relic battle. Villages going out onto gold. That's a lot of villages on gold. Now, I wonder if the Musafadi warriors will start to pounce on that at some point. But for now, Beastie's quite content just getting the sacred sites. It's got a lot of map control. I love the imported armor coming in. That's a clear telegraphing of a likely Sofa change, and going for the Sofa. There we are. Look at that. 5 stables. That's going to be absolutely clutch, because ultimately the English do tend to want to go for those longbowmen. And he kind of has to, because he's got the Musafadi warriors to address. And the perfect counter, of course, for the Malians will then be the Sofa. Now both players looking to carve up the map. The one good thing about the English though is that with the second town centre, he's definitely got a good villager lead. Obviously he's up against a cow boom, which kind of helps with that for the Malians, but a 2 town centre play for the English looking pretty strong. If he does take it late game though, Beastie will want to stall things out to the super late game, where his population efficiency really helps with the cow boom and the passive gold generation from the Mansa Quarry, as well as those other pit mines. Decent number of longbowmen now, 19. Almost the same in number as the man-at-arms. Heading towards the middle, and now has activated that mid-map objective, the Sacred Site win condition. That's always an option for Beastie, actually, I've got to say. If he can get a couple of keeps, he does have a lot of stone. Look at that, 1,800. He's been mining a lot. Bear in mind as well, the Imperial Age tech up could be the Fort of the Huntress, which is effectively a keep for the Malians. So that's another potential keep landmark you can deploy on the sacred sites. Probably a strong potential to play this actually that way. Because man-at-arms going down the south sacred site just to try and decap that. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of Sofa peel off and try and deny that man-at-arms. Looks like he's going to send a couple of Musafadi warriors instead, which are pretty fast on their feet anyway. Got a good, nice 1.38 movement versus the 1.12 of the man-at-arms, so there's no way that the man-at-arms really get out of there. And yeah, Beastie going to be dropping down a keep pretty soon, and I think he should be able to save the sacred site. It looks like it in the north though. Sending a couple of one man-at-arms is not going to be enough, and he's going to keep access to all 3 for now. Keeps the sacred site timer ticking. Villagers head there to build, and well, looks like Louis is playing very much within his skin. Got plenty of farms. Could potentially be thinking about an Imperial Age, which I'm not so sure I feel good about that. Because if he does, that gives Beastie a lot of more time to build those keeps, and he's got 810 gold stone rather in the bank, and they could always go back onto this stone as well once this keep does go up. He's got plenty of gold, courtesy of those 3 relics and 3 sacred sites, and that's going to help him get to the Imperial Age himself, and he might even drop a market just to buy his way up. Well, looks like louemt has had enough of waiting around, sends a group of army A massive army, actually, I've got to say. But the Musafadi warriors will do well to engage with the man-at-arms if they can get close. The longbowmen might have something to say about that, though. I love the addition of the outpost. It will certainly help in the fight that's just about to start because, of course, network of castles will increase the attack speed. Mangonel deploys. Only one Mangonel for now, so that will help against the Musafadi warriors. Musafadi warriors coming from the north. Looking to start that Mangonel. He's going to try and get close to that Mangonel if he can, Louis, just to get a good surround and help to defend it. But Musafadi warriors getting a good wrap around, and that should be a good fight there for Beastie. Musafadi warriors should rip through the man-at-arms. The javelin throws through the longbows. It doesn't really feel like the longbows are doing too much to those Musafadi warriors. There's a lot of overkill happening. Does lose the Mangonel with the Sofa riding through the back, and this is absolutely huge. There's still one Mangonel alive, though. It should be a good cleanup. There's still so many Sofa, and with the man-at-arms numbers starting to dwindle, and the Mangonel down, the Sofa will then start to chase on those longbow, and I think the longbow need to retreat. They need to go back behind the palisades if they can. Looks like it's going to do just that, but take a look at the army numbers now. Down to 31, and behind this Beastie going to the Imperial Age. And that means that these units are going to really be strong with elite upgrades coming in soon after. That was a great fight there for Beastie. I gotta say, Louis has to come up with another plan B, I think. Keep in the south, keep in the north, and the Fort of the Hundreds in the middle. Sacred Site. Victory is on the cards. 7-minute timer still alive, and gonna poke and prod with a couple of longbows, but I've got to be careful here, Louis. He's gonna get caught. There's a couple of spearmen, but I don't think it's enough to deal with all those Sofa. And the Sofa gonna cut off for the retreat. Yeah, this army is gone. Now, this happens sometimes with the English. If you push out too far forward, and if you can't retreat, you don't have the numbers, you take a bad fight, you generally tend to lose all the numbers. Looks like that's happening right now as we speak. Might be able to escape with a couple of longbowmen, but it looks like the Sofa are going to chase and just pick off the remaining ones that are straggling behind. And again, a great fight there for Beastie. Down to 15 military now. The one good thing for the English, he does have a lot of villagers. The bad thing is he's an age behind pretty soon. And there is that age up for Beastie. Immediately queuing up some emplacements. In particular, boiling oils coming in. Cannon emplacements as well from the keeps. That means it's going to be even harder for the English to push. Now the English will be up to the next stage pretty soon. Probably with the Berkshire Palace. The question is, where does he put it? Now he could have two options. Could be a bit defensive with it. Maybe just outside the border of his base. But if he's too greedy with it, he could be spotted, and if he's spotted, it might be denied. So it's got to be careful with that, because obviously he's behind on military numbers. I think it's something that Beastie should actually pay attention to if he can keep an eye out. Does have a couple of outposts for that scouting information, but this would be a nice spot for the Berkshire Palace, just to be a bit of a staging ground to attack from. If Beastie can notice that and spot that, and recognize that as a potential play condition here for the English, then maybe he might be able to deny it. To try and deny that Sacred Site, but he's going to run into the keep, of course, and if he tries the same in the north, he's going to run into a keep as well. Get plenty more stone here, Beastie. Maybe opting for another keep. Maybe some stone walls could help. The English, after taking that bad fight, has to regroup and recover. There's the Berkshire Palace foundations being placed. Quite far forward, I gotta say. Wait. Yeah, there's going to get more villagers, of course. Not just one. But if Beastie was to spot this, that could be a problem. I mean, he does spot it. I mean, he's not noticing, though. He's not reacting. That's a lot of villagers. If he reacted a little bit quicker there, Beastie might have potentially denied that. He doesn't spot it for now, and the English army is in position. So the Berkshire will go up. Well, he spotted it now, but I think it's a little bit too late. I think he has to back away. He doesn't really want to fight underneath the Berkshire Palace if not needed. He's going to kill a couple of villagers, maybe just one. And then back away. A couple of horsemen there for the English. They're not particularly upgraded though, of course. There's a trebuchet working hard at the Fort of the Hundreds now, starting to push a little bit. Up in the north, going for that coal vein. There's something actually kind of interesting. Like, of course, they do have the enclosures upgrade coming in, which is important. But ultimately, it's not enough to sustain a full army production. And so we will need some gold. I'd love to see Beastie maybe get some vision on this area, because this is a possible area that he could get gold from. Pretty much the one of only... I mean, it's pretty much the only one I can go for, right? 2 tiles of 8,000 gold vein here on Dry Arabia. It's great to have that in control. A couple of horsemen going on the west side, looking to get some raiding value. Look to see if they can burn through the palisades and then work their way in. But take a look at this beastie. He's looking to raid as well with the Mustafadi warriors. And also those elite Sofa. This is a problem situation for the English, I've got to say. He's going to go for the relics, actually. He's going to go straight for the monastery, burn it down. And reduce the gold income for the English. Some great sniping there, actually, I've got to say. He does have an imam there as well in the army, so could potentially try and sneaky steal that. The trebuchet is still working on the Fort of the Huntress. You've got to be careful not to lose that beastie if you can. Going around the south here, a lot of the Sofa. Keeping the Mustafadi warriors back at the base there, just to detract and cause as much mayhem as possible. Letting the Sofa do the rest around the back of the base, and he might kill some villagers on the farms. It looks like he just will do that. A couple of horsemen on that wood line. Veteran horsemen. They're back away for now. Going to try and snipe a couple of villagers on the deer camp. Now bear in mind, the number of villagers the English have is a far superior. Maginot deploys. But the real powerhouse of the Malians is the cow boom. There are no villagers repairing. The trebuchet did go down in the end. Around the back, Mustafadi warriors harassing the villagers on gold, which is a great pick-off. Actually, wait, Louis needs to address the situation. There aren't that many units. Longbowman heading there now, but it's going to lose a lot of villagers. They're still trying to mine the gold, but he's down to 90 villagers now. Beastie's killed almost 50 villagers. That's absolutely huge, and he's going to get a couple more still. That's a massive pick-off. Louis underestimated the power of those Mustafadi warriors. He's being punished for it. Only 2 minutes on the sacred site timer. Louis down to 51 military, which is not too bad, but he's going to need to find a way to push out quickly. With another keep going up for Beastie in the middle, it's going to be difficult to push that position. Bombard does deploy. Went for the outpost first. Has to back away, fighting underneath the Berkshire Palace. Although there's 2 bombards, so he might be able to snipe that one out. He should get it in the next shot. If he gets it off, he doesn't quite. Still a minute and a half on the ticking timer. I mean, the trouble for Louis is he's going to need to camp units on the sacred site, but he's going to have to fight and also camp, and underneath 2 keeps essentially. Well, the Fort of the Huntress should go down pretty soon. The Sofa ride in. The Mustafadi warrior is going to clear out the man-at-arms. Sofa trying to get onto the bombard. If he can take the bombard, that would be absolutely huge. But if he can't, he might just focus on the longbows instead. A second bombard comes out from the Berkshire Palace. He's just going to start focusing on the Berkshire Palace with 2 bombards himself here, Beastie. He might lose 1 bombard to the Berkshire Palace, but he's certainly holding on, buying time. Camping on that sacred site, 1 minute still on the timer. Bombard being repaired there by the English, and Louis trying to keep that bombard alive for as long as possible to get as much value as possible, but he's going to need to somehow get onto that sacred site if he can and push those units away. But it does look like a bit of an uphill task. Does have a lot of man-at-arms, 38 military versus 33, but defenders advantage coming in clutch here as the Mustafadi warriors do start to trickling in, and there's another keep going up for Beastie. He's definitely looking to secure that area with keeps. 45 seconds. The counter has been stopped, at least temporarily, but it ticks away again as the English units have been killed. Bombard's still alive though. He's actually attracting a lot of the DPS from the Malian army with that. Still focusing on the Fort of the Huntress. It's still alive. That 3rd keep coming up. It's going to be really difficult to push now. We can't really keep units there for long. So we need to try and get rid of the static defenses if he can. 15 units garrison inside. That Fort of the Huntress as well. Down to 20 seconds. I don't think Louis can stop this. He's going to try. He's got a great farming economy, but he needs to somehow get unit numbers up. Down to 19 military. He lost a lot of villagers. 70 in total. Might go down to the wire. Only 4 seconds. I think that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, Louis has no chance to get any units in. And there it is. Beastie. He takes the game. It's a sacred site victory in the end on Dry Arabia. The Ilalu king beating the English king.